Good morning and welcome to one of your first yoga sessions while in quarantine. I encourage you to find a quiet space someplace in your house, whether that is your bedroom, another room, just someplace you can have peace for the next 40 minutes. I thought today we could take it nice and easy, do mainly seated prone and supine positions. Many of us are probably very tight. Our last yoga practice may have been the last time that you've actually had a good stretch. So just allowing this to be a time of getting acquainted with our yoga practice and to getting acquainted with our new normal and perhaps what our bodies will feel like on a day-to-day basis with increased sitting and less physical activity. And so we're going to go ahead and get started on our mats. If you don't have a mat, feel free to use a blanket. I would just say in any position like down dog, or if we were to do anything standing up, just remove the blanket, especially if you're on a hard surface, because I don't want you to slip. Remembering that you are your best teacher always, and to practice safe alignment. And if anything doesn't feel right, continue to back out. So we will be running this as if we were in the swim dryland room. And so the same sort of lessons apply to your body and to your practice. So go ahead and find a comfortable seated position and we will get started. And just close your eyes. Allow your sits bones to make complete contact with the earth below. Using this moment to really check in with your body, check in with your breathing, check in with your mind, your emotions. Where are you today? And can you surrender? For the next 40 minutes, can you surrender completely to your mat and completely to your practice? Taking a few deep breaths on your mat. Maybe a nice big inhale through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Again, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your abdomen. Noticing your breathing. And thinking about our reflection for the week. Our reflection is life is a balance between what we can control and what we cannot. We should learn to live between effort and surrender. Taking a few deep breaths here. See if you can fill your belly with air. And then exhaling it all out. Dropping your hands to a comfortable position and just allowing for some neck rolls here. Very slow. Allowing for a neck roll to the other side. One more time each side. See if you can hit all points. Last time to the other side. And when you get there, just rubbing your hands together, trying to build some heat in your hands. And then placing your hands on your neck. Maybe clasping your fingers at the back of your neck. And just allowing your neck and your gaze to drop towards your mat. Releasing your arms by your side. Just take a nice inhale up. And stretching your arms, clasping them behind you, lifting your chest to the sky. Breathing. Coming through to center, inhale up. Exhaling over to the right. Permission to look up. Coming through center on an inhale and then exhaling over to the left. Permission to look up. Coming through center once again. And then on your exhale, rounding out, coming into cat back. I'm sorry, yeah, cat back, that's correct. And then moving forward into cow. And just cycling through some of those, maybe with your eyes closed. Moving to the sound of your own breathing, your own rhythm. And coming forward and getting some side-to-side rolls here. So seated torso circles. And then releasing your legs in front of you and just getting some seated windshield wipers here. Feel free to look in the opposite direction of your legs. Just brings a little more movement, a little more stretch to your spine. Good, and then releasing, and I'm actually going to put on my little fisheye lens so that you can see more of what I'm doing, okay? So we are actually going to go towards our back and come into a waterfall position. So just coming to your back, lifting your legs to the sky. If you have a block at home, you can use a block. If you don't have a block, you can always wrap up a blanket and put it underneath your lower back, or you can take your hands and put them in the low back. And when you get to waterfall, just breathing. It's really good for your blood circulation. I imagine many of you have not had your legs above your head for quite some time. And when you get there, and when you feel grounded into your mat, begin some points and flex of the feet. Some circles of the ankles. I can hear the cracks now. And then return your feet to a neutral position. Having your arms out by your side. See if you can press your shoulder blades into the mat. And breathe. Now placing your hands behind your head and just getting some nice movement here, nice and slow, gentle, some lifts and lowers. Really thinking about that area around the abdomen. Making sure you're breathing. 2 more. And on your next one, hold up. Release your hands. See if you can touch your toes. Reach, reach, reach. Take a deep breath. Good. And then release everything to the mat or your space. Getting a nice full body stretch in here. Breathing. Now bringing your knees into your chest. See if you can release your low back into your space a little more. So if that means you have to push your knees a little bit further away from your chest, that's okay. But that's just so you can really get that low back in there when you do your side to side rock. And getting a nice massage for that low back. Now bringing your knees back into your chest, rolling forward and back. And then rolling up. Once again, coming to our seated posture. And coming into our tabletop. In your tabletop, your hands are flat, finger spaces wide. Wrist under your shoulders. Remember, your legs are about hip width apart. Taking a few deep breaths here. Taking your right leg behind you with your toes still on the mat. Getting a nice stretch here through your Achilles, your calf. Breathing deep. And now taking that right leg and bringing it across the left side of your body. And then trying to look back to your right toes. And breathing here. Probably feeling very stiff in this position. Bringing that leg back behind you, swapping out. So now left toes will go behind you on the mat. And you're stretching into that calf and Achilles. And then bringing the left toes across the right side of the body. Try not to dump a lot of weight into your arms and your wrist. The stretch is really coming from your leg. And then looking back towards those toes. And breathing. Taking one more deep breath. Good, and then coming back to your tabletop and actually coming down on your forearms here. And when you're on your forearms, cycling through some cats and cows. Cat back, sending your belly button to your spine. Cow, arching, lifting your neck. Up, your gaze up, moving your shoulders away from your ears. Cat, cow, cat, cow. And then coming back up to your tabletop, taking your right leg now behind you, toes off the mat. Flexing that right foot. And then taking your left arm out to the side. Coming into a modified spinal balance with arm out to the side. And breathing. Finding a focal point on your mat you can stare at. Really firing up the abdomen, firing up the leg that you have lifted. Taking one more deep breath. Good, and then releasing. Moving to opposite side. So left leg lifts off the mat now. Really flexing that foot. Toes should be pointed towards the mat. Deep breathing, and now opposite arm. Out to the side. It's almost like you're trying to reach out to something towards your right side. Core is engaged. You have a focal point. Taking a deep breath and coming into our child's pose. Arms either out in front, and have arms by your side. Whatever feels good to you. Just breathing, returning to that steady rhythm of inhales and exhales. Even if it takes a few moments, that's okay, that's normal. Continue to surround yourself with positive energy here. Taking one more deep breath. And from here, we're going to come into our plank, our high plank. Trying to transfer the weight out of your arms. Bring the power to your legs, to your core. Having a neutral neck here, so looking straight down, almost in between your hands or even out towards the edge of your mat. Deep breathing, shifting your body weight forward, slowly lowering down and coming into crocodile. We're not going to leave crocodile out. Keeping an eye on the time. From here, bringing your arms by your side. We're going to come into locust pose. So lifting our upper body up the mat and then getting our legs involved. Making sure that you're looking towards your mat. You don't want to crank your neck up or have your chin tucked down. Should have a nice neutral neck here. See if you can draw your legs a little closer together. You can really feel your legs, your core, your back, your glutes, everything firing up. Taking one more deep breath. And then surrendering, maybe turning your head in your favorite direction. And breathing. And just to bring balance, just turning your head in the opposite direction for a few breaths. Finding peace and stillness. Remember, it's a mix of effort and surrender, both on your mat and off your mat. Bringing our head back into neutral position, coming up into Sphinx pose. So placing your forearms on the mat. Your hands are slightly in front of you. Lifting your chest. Your gaze is straight forward. Great stretch for the back, the hips, shoulders. And then just taking our gaze to the right, just to change the sensation of the pose. And then taking our gaze to the left. Making sure we're breathing here. Don't hold your breath. Returning to Sphinx Center. And from here, bringing your hands into a prayer position in front of you so they were flat, bringing them into prayer. And now curling your toes under and lifting up into our dolphin pose. So remember, dolphin pose is like downward dog, but on your forearms. Walking your toes in and seeing if you can transfer your gaze over your hands. And breathing. See if you can lift your hips a little higher. Taking one more deep breath and coming down into your child's pose. And surrender. Quieting the mind, quieting the breath. From your child's pose, coming back to your tabletop, curling your toes under and coming into a downward dog. The first dog of the day. Remember all your principles that apply here. Feel free to move in whatever way feels good to you. Check your hands, make sure they're flat. See if you can push through your palms, pushing your hips higher to the sky. Shake your head, make sure it's heavy. Maybe open and close your mouth a few times to ensure you're not holding on to any tension in the jaw. Lifting our right leg off of the mat now, coming into three-legged dog, having your toes pointing down. Taking a nice inhale through your nose, and then exhale, coming into pigeon pose. Maybe you pause in pigeon at the top before you decide to surrender. And so finding what's comfortable for you here. If you're used to using a bolster or a block and you don't have one, then maybe you consider just staying in an upward position. Remember, you always have the option of doing a reclined pigeon. So there are multiple options for you here. Probably feeling especially tight in those hips. This is a great release for that. If you wanted a little more, you can always flex that right foot. Brings just a little more heat into that leg. Take one more deep breath. From here, coming back into your dog, stretch it out. Notice how this dog feels very different than the one we just did. Now lifting our left leg to the sky, toes pointing towards the mat. Taking a deep inhale, bringing that leg underneath your body, coming into pigeon, left side. Again, maybe you pause at the top and then surrender. Deep breathing. If you wanted more, you can flex that left foot. Making sure you're not holding your breath. Taking a few more deep breaths here. Maybe you try to flex that foot for the last few breaths. Coming into down dog to release everything. A deep inhale here, and then exhale, coming back down to your mat. When you get to your mat, go ahead and bring your left knee, not your left knee, your left foot into your body, and have your right leg out on your mat to the side. Take a nice inhale, and then we're going to exhale over to the right. Oh, I feel so tight. Take one more inhale, exhale, inhale, and then exhale. Moving now towards your right leg, facing it. Take some deep breaths, especially if you're tight. Let your breathing guide you through the pose. And walking up, taking a nice inhale, exhaling, diving forward. Deep breathing here. Walking your hands up, swapping out your legs. Bringing right leg into your body, left leg straight. Inhale, exhale over to the left. You can always look up if that's a fit. If not, you could look down, look to the side. Taking a big inhale, exhale, inhale, and then dive forward over that left leg. Again, breathing. Allowing oxygen to get to those tight muscles. walking yourself up, turning to the center. Inhale, exhale, diving forward. Walking the hands back. Coming to your mat with your feet firmly planted on the mat. Arms out to the side. Slowly making our way back to our mats. When you get there, taking a nice full body stretch. Bringing your knees into your chest. Allowing your legs to drop over to the right side. Coming into spinal twist. Deciding where you want your gaze. And slowly allowing your legs to fall over to the left side and deciding where you want your gaze. And breathing. Coming back through center, giving yourself one more side to side rock. And then making your way to your pose of surrender. As always, you can utilize whatever you have to deepen your relaxation. A blanket, a pillow. You can use something to cover your eyes. If you're near your bed, you can always hop into that. So just finding a Shavasana pose that best fits you. Closing your eyes. Noticing how your body feels in this moment. Trying to create a sense of peace, knowing that you are in a safe place, knowing that you are cared for and loved, and celebrating that you actually came to your yoga practice today. Allow your breath to be normal, like a baby's breath, and just surrender completely to your mat. Begin to awaken your body. Make some small movements. Deepen your breath. While your eyes are still closed, really internalizing our reflection. Life is a balance between what we can control and what we cannot. Learn to live between effort and surrender. Whenever you're ready, coming to a seated pose. We will bring our hands to our hearts. Even though we're separated, we still recognize and honor the light we all possess. Namaste. See you next time.